Hey there everybody, it's your instructors Dashabella and Red Velvet, and welcome to Showmanship 101 because I know a bunch of you guys are struggling. I know a bunch of people want some help, advice, anything to help them get through the Showmanship 101 stuff because unfortunately it is part of our Easter season pass quests. I'm putting this video together because I'm hoping to make the Showmanship event maybe a little bit easier for you guys. I do have some personal advice and tips and tricks that I want to share with you all as well because I've done a lot of the showmanship stuff. I think I've got the hang of it. Obviously there's still some stuff I'm kind of learning about, so yeah, kind of bear with me because this is probably going to be a very rough and scrappy guide video, but hopefully this is going to be a helpful video for you guys. So before we jump into the whole guide thingy, what is showmanship? Because I know some of you guys maybe have not played the game in quite a while and you're like, wait a minute, we got a brand new event. We kind of do. So Showmanship is a brand new gameplay event that was added into Star Equestrian along with the Easter update. And basically it's not dressage, okay? I don't want you guys to think it's dressage. It's more about us kind of guiding our horses around and showcasing, I guess, their looks and their performance. Although it's kind of like that, but in Star Equestrian it's more about us, you know, and how we kind of make our horses look super pretty. You'll kind of understand once we actually do get into the gameplay thing. But if you do want to jump into the showmanship event, okay, if the event is around, because it is a limited time event, it will be in the special events tab right here. There's also going to be a timer on the bottom so you know how long the event is going to be around for. And obviously because it's just started, we're sitting at about 2 weeks. So yeah, this is gonna be around for 2 weeks. If this is not the current event in Star Equestrian, it will, I guess, like randomly happen. So don't panic if you want to do showmanship and it's not around. It's not a regular game mode in Star Equestrian. It's a special game mode. So once you click into the showmanship tab, you can see that there are 3 levels actually. So you can see the first one is called Easter Show Excellent, Easter Show Exemplary, and Easter Show Extravagant. And to some degree, it's kind of like a easy, medium, and hard. I don't know, they've kind of named it funny, but you guys kind of get the idea. And the whole point of this is that you score as many points as possible, and your score will be combined from all 3 events. So if you want to get into showmanship, you kind of need to do all 3 levels to get a high score. Now, the thing is, why would you want to do it? So if you are like me and you are like at the end of the game, you have nothing left to do, but you have like a bunch of horses and stuff, leaderboard is probably what you want to aim for because you do get bonus rewards for being in the top 100. If you're not top 100, unfortunately, you don't get any other bonus rewards aside from your milestones, which you can see at the bottom of the screen down here. So for everybody else, like if you're just doing this for these rewards and for your dailies, obviously, you want to score as high as possible because you want to claim all of the rewards. And because it's Easter, a lot of the rewards for us are the Easter eggs and of course gems. I would just do this for gems if you're somebody that's just starting out because it's free. Grab the gems. So yeah, score as much as possible. I don't recall what we need to get that high score. I think it's 60,000 points across all 3 events, but I could be wrong. I am very sorry if I am wrong. I can't check this anymore because yeah, I've maxed out my my levels. So let's get into the nitty gritty of showmanship, okay? What do you need to succeed in showmanship? You need a bunch of horses, and you need a bunch of horses with all kinds of different looks, appearances, stats, personalities, you name it. The more variety, the better, because when you click into one of the events, you are going to be shown the horse screen. And unlike show jumping across country, where you just really need a horse that has the right amount of stats, for showmanship, the horse's personality and appearance is also taken into account. So it's no longer about just having trained horses. It might be, as you can see on the screen here, you need a horse that has a energetic personality. It might need to have Easter features. It might need to have a genetic trait at a certain level. So yeah, you need to make sure that you have matching horses because the thing is with showmanship, it is not just about your performance during the show. The final score that you get at the end of showmanship is also determined by how matching your horse is to that particular event. So if you have a fully matched horse, then you have the chance to score the maximum amount of points because there is a bonus multiplier thrown on top of your final score. Now, the thing is, I don't know if anyone has ever managed to get maximum points. I haven't personally. So, yeah, maybe it's just really, really hard. But if anyone out there is panicking, like, I can't get maximum points, it's almost impossible to get maximum points. Okay, so do not panic. Now, the thing is as well, you can do the event with a horse that doesn't match. It just means that you will get a point penalty, I guess, at the end when they do the final scores for your horse. So really, what you're trying to aim for, get the highest possible match and to score as many points possible when you do get around to actually doing the performance. So let's jump into the Easter Show Extravagant Horse event. Okay, so how do you pick the right horse? You could do this by eye. So have a look at what's on the right hand side of the screen, and then you just kind of filter through horses that would be able to fit the criteria. If you are lazy, there is a recommended horse button in the bottom left hand corner that you can click. It's right next to the change horse button. So it will basically show you your best possible match. Just a disclaimer though, this button isn't always accurate because it is also going to take into account your horses and their tack. So you might have a horse that is technically a better match if you tack it up, but it will basically pull the absolute best horse that it can find that doesn't have any tack. I kind of wonder if I pull this off, would it actually make a difference? It's okay, we're just gonna leave it as it is. But for this event in particular, I do have Jocelyn, who is a 98% match for this event. So she is my best horse that I can actually use for this. Oh, and speaking of, I don't know why I totally forgot about this. If you are curious about what qualifies as like a certain coat color, an eye color, or mane and tail color, there's a button next to traits called More Info. If you click that, it's going to show you a horse with features that would be compatible for that particular event. So for this one, we need to have blue eyes. I think the mane and tail needed to be blonde. Yeah, I think that was it. And so because of this, it's going to flick through a bunch of different eye and mane and tail colors so that you know what is and is not compatible. It's a little bit slow, so please bear with it. But you are going to be seeing some pretty interesting combos. Like this blue eye matches the event for some reason. This brown mane is considered blonde, which I don't know who thought that was a good idea. You're going to be seeing some weird stuff like this as well. Please ignore that. But yeah, this will be very handy if you're trying to find particular matches for a particular event. And it works for everything too. So if you switch to a different difficulty, then it's going to show you a horse that is going to be very compatible with this. So moving on, we have the track preview screen. And if you have not done Showmanship at all, I do not want you to panic right now. Okay, this screen is way more simple than you think it actually is. It does show you like the path that your character and your horse is going to take. Now, here's the thing, you don't need to control your horse to take this path. They will auto follow the path. Our role is to focus on the instructions, which is on the right hand side of the screen. So as you can see, it says from point A to B, we're going to be taking that path in a trot. When you hit B, you're going to perform a rear, and then from B to C, you're going to change to a walk, and then from C to D, change to a trot, yada, yada, yada. You guys kind of get the idea. And these instructions are important because once you hit an instruction, that's when the game is going to prompt you with a quick action reaction thing. So it could be in the form of just tapping a circle when it hits the middle. It could be dragging a bar. It could be spinning this circle wheel thing. It could really be anything. But the most important thing I want you guys to remember is that these actions are not random. Depending on what the instruction is, that thing is going to be fixed. Like it'll be a fixed action. So for example, I want you to remember there are the 4 circle taps. Those 4 circle taps always happen when you are transitioning gaits. So whenever it says go from A to B in a trot, you're going to be doing a tap. If you go transition from the trot to a walk, that's also going to be the same tap. Walk to trot, same thing. So once you do actually get into showmanship, you're going to realize there is a pattern in what actions you need to perform for each move. Okay, time to pop into a showmanship event so you guys can kind of see how the event plays out. So I'm just gonna grab Red Velvet for this because we're just gonna kind of show you how things go. So if you do have a better horse that you actually did the event with, the game will tell you. Okay, so this is a very nice caution screen. But in most cases, it really doesn't matter if you have decided on what horse you want to use. Okay, so popping into the screen, it's going to look like a random event. So it's just, you know, random, like the usual stuff you normally see for cross country and show jumping. Once you do press start, okay, here's the countdown, and then we're going to go right into it. So like I said, you are not going to be controlling where your horse and your character runs. We just have to focus on either tapping the screen, spinning the wheel, that kind of business. So let's focus a little bit more on what is actually on the screen rather than the actions, because I will go through the actions later on. So at the top of the screen, there is a bar, and that bar is going to tell you where you and your horse are currently in the routine. So we can see we just passed the B mark, and we are going to be going to our next mark, which is going to be C. And as we approach the mark, you can see the C is becoming more and more solid. So we hit the C, and then we go right into our next routine, which we are just going to try and do whatever we can. And there we go. There's the routine. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that there is the name of your character, the horse that you're using, and also the percentage of your horse's ability to match for the event. In most cases, I would tell you to ignore the percentage. It really does not matter. Underneath that, there is also the routines and how you scored, in case you're wondering. Like, if you want to keep track of your score throughout the event, you can just have a quick look down there. It'll tell you what number of the routine you are in and what you scored, which in that case for that rear, I scored 826 points. Under that, there is another cute little thing that they added, which is some flavor text. It's supposed to be this like fake announcer kind of, you know, speaking for us. I think it's broken because even though I score like perfect marks, it'll always tell me like we're not in sync or something. I don't know. It's just random. So ignore that. If you want to read it, it's totally fine. It's up to you. But it does not indicate anything in this at all. Okay, so you can just completely ignore that. So that's kind of like the routine and the UI. Let's jump into the details for the routine, because there are a lot of people that have kind of struggled to figure out where they're supposed to be clicking for the individual routines in themselves. Let's start with the gate transitions, because that is the most common move, I think, in the Showmanship event. So for every time you transition from like walk to trot, trot to canter, or you go from canter to trot, you're going to be getting this tap action event. And the best way to score for this is to try to get that colored line on top of the white line. That is basically the way to get perfect. There is a little leeway, like your circle can be a little bigger, it also can be a little smaller, but try to just aim to tap as that colored line crosses over onto the white. The next action we're going to talk about is the spin. This one's pretty straightforward. So you need to grab that joystick in the center of the screen, and you are going to have to spin that in a anti-clockwise direction as fast as possible, because this is not going to finish in one spin. This does require a little bit of effort on the player's part. Basically, spin this as quickly as possible up until you fill up that circle and it is completely green. That is really what you want to be aiming for if you want to try and get maximum points. Here's the thing, I'm telling you to do it as fast as possible because there is a timer. The game is not going to wait for you to get to that green. So if you can practice this, try to do it as quick as possible. Next up, we have the tapping action, and there's two variations to this actually, so you will need to pay attention when you're doing your showmanship events. So if you see a circle in the middle of your screen and it asks you to tap, I want you to tap that as fast as possible, because every time you tap it, you're going to be filling up that circle with the colored section. And if you're tapping fast enough, you will be able to tap until it's green. Keep tapping until that circle disappears, because if you stop tapping and the circle is still there, that circle in the middle is going to get smaller and smaller. So you need to keep tapping. Once that disappears, you're going to be getting one of two actions. You're either going to be asked to drag 2 bars downwards, which for that one, it's pretty simple. You just click the top and you drag it all the way to the bottom for both of them. The other action that you might end up getting is actually a hold action, where you're going to be getting a circle on your screen and it says hold. You need to put your finger on that button and hold it until the colored circle matches up with the white line on the outside of that circle, and you will have to do that twice. Next up, we have the rear action, and I know a lot of people struggle with this, okay? So please pay attention. So you're going to be asked to do a central circle tap. So just like we do with the transitional taps, try to tap that circle. After you have tapped that circle, there is going to be a bar, and the game is going to ask you to try to line up the colored box with that central line. And this is really, really tricky. You're going to have to practice this because I know a lot of people struggle. My advice for this: do not drag that bar completely to one side, because that bar is going to fly as if it's got wings, okay? I suggest you be very gentle. It is much easier to control that bar if you are going very slowly, because at least you know, like, if you're almost there, you just have to put a little bit more pressure to try and get it to touch that central line. Even if you can't touch that central line, as long as your colored box turns green, you're in the good, okay? You are still going to be able to grab a gold medal. Just be very, very gentle with this. I know some people think you have to like time it where it's like going as fast as possible right as the timer runs out. Don't do that. That's going to make your job way, way more difficult. Next up, we have another action where the game is going to ask you to drag the arrow to the bottom of the box. Super simple, just drag that all the way down to the bottom. And then after that, it's going to ask you to do 3 taps towards the bottom of your screen. And just like the regular tap things, guys, you know what to do. Just try and get that colored circle to line up with the white circle. Alrighty, I think that is basically it for all of the actions. Now, if there's any that I've missed, oops, I will probably have to say something in the comments below. But those are basically all the actions you're going to be encountering. You're going to be noticing that it's probably going to be some mixing and matching here and there. So just pay attention to when you're doing a showmanship event for the first time, because once you get an idea as to what the routine is, that's the routine that's basically going to stick until the end of the showmanship event. And it really does pay to remember what action you're going to be doing next, because at least you know, if you're playing a mobile or tablet, you know where to like place your finger, you know, when the action does appear. And same thing for computer as well. Now, some tips and tricks that might be able to make things a little bit easier. Some of the tips I think are more PC centric because I am on computer, but maybe this can also help you on mobile and tablet. We'll have to see. But the whole remembering the routine thing, that is probably one of my biggest tips right now. If you roughly remember what a routine is and what actions to look forward to next, it makes it way easier for you as the player to anticipate where you should be clicking and what you should be doing next, because there are a couple of events that require you to do it as quickly as possible because you lose points if you do it too slow. So if you can, try to remember the routine. If you do misremember stuff, it's okay. And please, 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 I know this is like a very, very generic, practice, okay? Practice the showmanship stuff. It really helps to practice because you will eventually start to learn all these patterns. You'll learn the timings. It just gets so much easier. It's just like cross country and show jumping. Although with those, the events can get easier if you have like a better horse. For showmanship, the difficulty of the event is the same for everybody. It's the same for everybody. It's the same for like every single horse. There is no difference in difficulty. And because of that, it doesn't matter what horse you're riding. If you get the hang of showmanship, you've got the hang of showmanship. Okay. So this is definitely more of like a skill-based event, obviously with pay-to-win features of you needing to have matching horses. But like if you have a good week and you're comfortable playing this, there's a good chance you're going to be jumping on that leaderboard. Okay, next up, advice for gold ribbons, because I know a lot of people are struggling with getting the seasonal quest. This one in particular, showmanship gold ribbon, 6 gold ribbons, okay? So what qualifies as a gold ribbon? Because there has been a lot of debate online on people thinking they got the gold ribbon and then they didn't. The only way to get a gold ribbon in the showmanship event is for whatever round you're doing, you have to get green taps in every single round. If you mess up any of them and you end up getting yellow or red, that's it. You have no way of getting that gold ribbon. Okay, so for you to get the gold ribbon, you have to perfect tap absolutely everything. And I know a lot of people have been struggling with this because some people just don't know how to play quick time action events. Like, Again, this is not something for everybody, but at least moving forward, you now know that if you don't get the gold ribbon, it's most likely because you weren't able to get gold taps for every single round. Oh, and one last thing about gold medals, it doesn't matter how compatible your horse is with that weak showmanship. You could be riding a 0% matching horse and you would still be able to get a gold ribbon. The gold ribbon in showmanship is not determined by how much your horse matches the event. It is purely your performance score. So just hit everything green and you'll be able to get a gold ribbon. It does not matter at all what horse you use for this. All right, this next tip is a bit of a tip for my PC gals, because I know a lot of gals on PC, they are struggling because we have to use mouse instead of our finger, because obviously this game mode, it's made for mobile and tablet, okay? It's definitely made for like tapping fingers. So one of the biggest complaints I'm hearing from my girls that do play on computer is that their screen might be too big and they are struggling with the tapping action because their mouses just can't get to the tapping circles quick enough. So a solution I found earlier on, I don't use this anymore, I literally am used to doing this on my big screen now, is if you play the game in windowed mode, if you play the game on a super small window, you can drag your game smaller. And the circles, I mean, obviously if the game's smaller, the tapping actions are going to be closer together. So it'll be easier for you to be able to hit those taps. So if you're struggling because you have a giant computer monitor and you don't know how to, increase your mouse's sensitivity, make your game smaller. Trust me, the smaller it is, the much easier it's going to be to hit those side taps. Because yes, for some people, that is literally their only issue. As for the bar, I think I literally gave you the advice earlier. You know, that silly little bar that's like super sensitive. I'm not joking when I say take that slow. Please take that as slowly as possible, because if you want to, I mean, if you do master timing it by like zooming it from one side of the screen to the other, great. I'm proud of you. I'm actually so happy for you. But no, seriously, if you don't know how to do it or you're struggling, really take it slow. Just be very, very gentle with it. In a lot of cases, you actually have more than enough time to get it like close to the center. It's just, if you're trying to go dead center, then yeah, there might be a little bit of a struggle because you'll need a little bit more power once you're pulling that slider. So just be a little bit careful with that slider. That slider and I were not friends for the first week of showmanship. I'm going to tell you that. Next piece of advice, level up tack pieces. I'm not joking. Level up all of your purple and yellow things, because there might be a week where you need like a certain stat level. And let's say your best tack set does not have what you need, which for example could be acceleration or it could be jump. Level up all your purple stuff, all your yellow stuff. Because that is going to come in handy at some point if you have a horse that is untrained, but you do need to have stat points in. So you can see here, for example, so Red Velvet, her stats just do not line up for this. But if I put in one of my maxed out tack sets, I can at least get her to 80 jump and agility pretty easily. The acceleration might be a little bit of a struggle. So level up your tack pieces. They will come in handy at some point. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for the showmanship guide video. I wish I could have gone more in depth into this, but really it just, I think, is a case of you just practicing the event. Just keep practicing the event. You're going to get the timings. You're going to know what feels good, what timing is right. You're going to just find that it gets easier. But to do that, you just got to keep doing your showmanship events, okay? Just keep practicing. I promise you it's going to be worth it. And whether you do or don't do the leaderboard stuff, just do showmanship as much as you need. Like if you really only need it for like a daily or a weekly, and maybe even just like the 6 for the seasonal quests, once you're done, like you're done, okay? You just wait until the next week resets and maybe your quests reset. So yeah, don't sweat it. You're not really losing out on anything if you don't really decide to participate in showmanship, because there aren't any exclusive rewards outside of just the titles. And I know for most people, the titles aren't even that enticing enough, which is fair. We have our own personal opinions. Like, really? Thank goodness there's no showmanship horse. So yeah, with that said, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, do leave a like on this video, and if you wanted to, you can leave a comment as well, just to let me know how you guys are holding up with the showmanship stuff. Are you doing well? Are you struggling? Are there any questions that you might have with showmanship? feel free to throw them down in the comments below. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. But I do hope to see more of you up on the top 100 leaderboard because yeah, it's been a struggle, I think, just trying to convince people to do the game mode. But again, it's not for everybody. So if you don't like doing it and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Do whatever you want to do in Star Equestrian, you know, it's a game. You're supposed to enjoy playing this game. You don't need to stress doing all this other stuff that you don't need. Anyways, thanks for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!